Welcome to the Week 10 Blue Duck Fantasy Football Pregame Show. I'm Ben. With me, as always, is Maddie. No longer sick? You good?
Getting there.
We don't care. Anyways, welcome to the Pregame Show where we answer all your fantasy football questions. Leave a comment. Let us know you're here so we can say hi, so we can answer your questions. And we are going to jump right into the inactives. Big one, Matt Stafford out. Downgrades all the players for the Lions. Marvin Jones probably most of all, but is definitely like a player that you could be looking to flex or start in 3 wide receiver sets. Now falls out of that range and is more of a desperation flex at this point. Probably a 20-point drop in the rankings with that quarterback change, I'd say. From 30 to 50, maybe 45, 40-ish. Like he's possibly still a flex in a PPR league in 3 wide receiver sets. But outside of that, you're going to be looking to get away from Galladay. Probably still going to stay in the top 25.
Oh, yeah.
But in a PPR league, you might have a better PPR receiver than him simply because he's not a big volume guy. He's the big play guy. The yards should still be fine. I'm still starting in my Yahoo league, although I don't have an option to not start him. So, anybody else who's inactive?
LaShawn McCoy.
Wow. And
Coach's
he is
decision.
Healthy scratch, LaShawn McCoy. So Damian Williams'
It's the guy.
value goes up.
Yep.
Guess who also has value now? Darrell Williams. Because that's still going to be a committee. So unless they're deciding to finally give Darwin Thompson, the best running back on the team, a chance, it's going to be the Williamses going at it. And it's going to be a whole lot more Damian than Darrell. Darrell might get the goal line touches or something weird. But Darrell Williams is just a desperation play at this point. If you have LaShawn McCoy and he's out there on your waiver wire, you got to go pick him up. I don't know if you drop Shady just yet, but if you were starting Shady, you need somebody else.
Yeah, I wouldn't drop him just yet.
If it happens again, though, he's gone.
Yeah.
One more, another healthy scratch, and it is over for him. Anybody else?
Lamar Jackson's playing. We didn't really think that was going to be an issue. Hollywood Brown is in.
We'll talk about him a bit later as well.
And David Johnson's playing. We knew that.
Ballsy sit of the week, David Johnson. You cannot trust him. Start someone else like Tariq Cohen, who's going to get some volume in that game now.
That seems pretty outrageous.
Well, in PPR?
I'd still say that's pretty outrageous.
Sack up and start him. Not loving the Tariq Cohen ballsy start, but David Johnson ballsy sit for sure. You saw what he did last time he played. A couple of snaps, and then it was all Chase Edmonds. Drake ran well last week against in a tough matchup against 49ers.
Yeah.
Although the run D is taking a hit now with Quan out for the season. But sit David Johnson. If you don't want to start Tariq, that's fine. But you're going to want to sit David Johnson. Matt, anything else? What about weather? You got any weather for me?
I don't. Do you have any weather for me?
It's November. It's cold outside.
Some places.
Some places that aren't in a dome.
Yeah.
So I'll check the weather while you take us to the next spot, which is the rankings gaps. Not too many of those today, but not even color coded. Jeez. Well, the first 3 are yours.
All right.
A couple quarterbacks in there.
Stafford, we're not going to bother talking about.
First 2 are yours.
Okay. What do we got there? Josh Allen. Okay, I got him ranked as quarterback 16. He's not a top starter for me this week.
He's not even a starter for you this week.
In a 2 quarterback, he is.
Well, yeah, but we talk 1 quarterbacks here at the Blue Duck Fantasy Football. If you have a 2 quarterback question, throw it in there. We have rankings of the top 25 quarterbacks, so you can always check those out at BlueDuckFantasy.com. Why do you hate Josh Allen? Because you just hate Buffalo?
16. It's not bad.
There's only 26 going this week.
Yeah.
He's not even in the top half.
Well, there's 15 better quarterbacks than him this week. He's not super reliable. He's not going to get it done that much with his arm. You're depending on the ground game. He's just somebody there's a lot more players that I'd rather be starting than Josh Allen this week. You yourself and Mr. Black have him as a starter this week.
Yeah.
Against the Browns D. Is it just the Browns D that you don't like?
It's a combination of Josh Allen being usually on average a top 15-ish guy, this week with 6 quarterbacks on bye. Or is it more? I think there's 6 teams on bye.
6 on bye.
6 quarterbacks on bye? So yeah, 6 teams on bye, 6 quarterbacks on bye. There are 26 guys left. He happens to be in the top half of that. I think he's a fine start if he's your quarterback.
That's okay.
If you've been, splitting or doing a quarterback by committee, make sure you check out the rankings, blueduckfantasy.com.
He's had his chances and he hasn't done it though.
He hasn't had the big game yet, but he's not been bad.
No, but he had like Washington, Miami.
Would you rather start him or Brian Hoyer?
Josh Allen.
Okay. What about Kyle Allen?
Josh Allen.
What about Fitzmagic?
Yes, Josh Allen. Yeah.
Rudolph?
Allen. Yeah.
Garoppolo?
I think I'd start Jimmy.
Without Kittle? Most likely without Kittle?
Tough, yeah. That does make a big difference for Jimmy G.
Ryan Tannehill?
Those two guys have got to be very close on mine.
Any of the Giant or the New York quarterbacks?
No.
Baker Mayfield?
No. Not Baker.
Ryan Finley?
No, not Ryan Finley.
Driscoll?
No. Driscoll's the new
Trubisky?
No.
Really seems like you named a lot of quarterbacks here that
Yes.
you wouldn't start over them, but let's take a look at the actual rankings on blueduckfantasy.com to see why Matt is lying about where he actually has Josh Allen. And we'll see how many guys that I named that he actually put ahead of him. Well, Jimmy's ahead of him, so is Tannehill.
Jimmy was with what's his nuts there? Kittle.
Yeah, the rest of the guys you have below him.
Yeah, it's just.
I guess I have him ahead of Jared Goff.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No.
Sort of.
Did you see the stat that Trubisky has more touchdowns in the last 8 games?
Yeah, I tweeted that.
Yeah, you may have sent it to me. So there you go. It doesn't look like there's anything for weather. Everything looks pretty good. So we don't need to worry about that today. It is something to keep an eye on more and more as the fantasy football season gets into December. I do remember 4 or 5 years ago, I had Matt Stafford in a league that rewarded passing volume. So every 5 completions, you got 2 points. And he ended up playing in that snowball game against the Eagles when McCoy was there. And it was running all day because you just couldn't throw. You couldn't drop back, couldn't set. And he ended up putting a 6 up for me. And because of that, I lost.
Live and learn.
Yep. You got to check the weather when it comes to December.
Yep. What do you got next there on your rankings map here?
I have a question here on Instagram. It says, should I start Gallup over Galladay now that Stafford isn't playing PPR?
I would still go Kenny.
People were really worried about Kenny Galladay, but Jeff Driscoll was decent for the Bengals last year.
Yeah, that's the Bears D too, so.
Yeah.
People are worried about it. I get the.
There's going to be the volume. I think the Bears are going to win this game pretty easily now.
It's the bad, but don't get too fancy. You're starting guys that aren't. Well, Gallup's okay, but he's not nearly the quality of Kenny Galladay. There's no reason to go out and go crazy here.
Yeah, it's not like they're starting Luke Falk behind center there. It's Jeff Driscoll. He was a startable quarterback last year in 2 quarterback leagues. Well, Dalton was hurt.
Maybe they'll surprise and win the game.
Maybe. Let's move on to the next quarterback and the last quarterback on the list. Oh no, that was the last one. David Johnson, the running back. No more quarterback since we got rid of Stafford, since he is out with a broken back.
That was
sounds like a pretty serious injury.
Yeah.
I think
he wanted to play apparently. He just.
Yeah, I guess it's just kind of like discomfort, and it just needs to set properly before it can get going. But we're going to talk about the Arizona running backs here. David Johnson, my ballsy sit of the week. Make sure you follow on Instagram. That's where the ballsy starts and sits go. I have him at 14. You have him at 14.
You're 23.
I am at 23, and Mr. Black has him even lower at 36. Matt, why the love? Would you actually think he's going to get this full workload today?
I think he's going to be back to closer to. I think Kenyon Drake's going to fill in the Chase Edmonds role. That's about it for him. I think it's going to be what they were prior to him getting
Which Chase Edmonds role? The last time David Johnson played, or
prior to David Johnson pulling that one snap, get out of the way.
This is the tough Bucs, D.
Yeah, it's a tough run defense. That's why he's outside the top 12. But he's still going to be involved in the passing game. The offense runs a lot through DJ. Kenyon Drake doesn't scare me at all, as you can see.
Yeah, you have him at 50, or
that's you.
yeah, you have him at 34. So you just think he's going to get some decent volume.
Oh.
Mr. Black actually believes that Kenyon Drake is going to out-snap David Johnson. So that's really interesting there. I'm not overly high on either of them, just because this is a tough D, and I don't care who gets in there. They're not going to do very well, but I do believe David Johnson is going to get the bulk of the work. I'm not afraid of Kenyon Drake as well. Let's move on to your favorite player, or my favorite player, depending on the week.
Yeah.
Looks like this week it's not mine. Joe Mixon, Cincinnati Bengals running back. I have him ranked 29th against Baltimore.
With
AJ Green. AJ Green's not back. I thought when AJ Green got back, it would open things up and he'd be able to do his thing. I just don't buy it. Like, this is a matchup where they're going to be behind. They're going to be throwing rookie quarterback in there. I don't like it this week. So he's a sit for me. You have him at 18, Mr. Black. I have him at 20. So you guys aren't overly high on him, but you guys are still saying to start him.
Yeah, I mean, with 6 teams on bye, there aren't that many great options out there. Rookie quarterback, I think they're going to run it extra amount because they're going to be having to protect Ryan Finley there. And, he's probably going to get, I'm hoping, about 20 touches. Hopefully he can do something with that and maybe get a touchdown. I just don't have him low enough that you can take him out of the lineup completely.
All right, let's go talk about somebody else. Probably the most interesting story that we're going to talk about today, or see today on TV, and that's Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Cleveland running backs. This is Kareem Hunt's first game for the Browns. How will they be used? Kitchens has said that he's going to be cutting into Chubb's work. Kitchens might be fired come Monday. I have Nick Chubb at 17. You have him at 7, so does Mr. Black. It's not the best matchup against Buffalo on the road. It's probably going to be fairly cold in Buffalo.
Run the rock.
True.
Run the rock in the bad weather.
I have Kareem Hunt at 32, while both of you have him at 43 and 41, so from 7. So you guys are thinking Kareem Hunt, non-factor
week 1
in this game. I don't believe that. I think the guy's just been waiting. It's not like he hasn't been practicing. He's ready. He's had the longest training camp any running back could have.
He had the sports hernia surgery.
When was that?
Just before the year. He was out for like about 6 or 7 weeks anyway.
Oh, well. All right, I wasn't aware of that. But either way, I think he's ready. He's going to go play. They're going to give him the rock. They're going to see what they have in him. Maybe give this offense a little bit of a new look. Although Chubb's been running great, so I don't know what Hunt's going to add to this team. He's not going to make this team better. He's not going to make this team worse. I think Hunt is a good runner. But it's going to be interesting to me to see how they use them, and I think that Kareem Hunt is going to get a lot more. I think he's getting probably close to 10 touches today.
Oh. I mean, it's just, to me, it's kind of like what we saw with Melvin Gordon. It's going to take a few weeks to get rolling into the offense.
But Melvin Gordon also came back, like, literally that week, like 5 days before, where he's been with the team. Or
he's
at
been
least
practicing, yeah. But Melvin Gordon also didn't have Nick Chubb in front of him.
That's true, but he also, the first game, he didn't do anything. He just sat there.
No.
But that's because he wasn't ready. It was just emergency basis.
Yeah.
Anyways, that'll be one to tune into today. Definitely a game we'll be keeping an eye on to see what the touches are as they go forward. It has huge fantasy impact. Nick Chubb was a player that we talked about. It's probably going to help get you to the playoffs, but might cost you your playoffs as well. Today's the day. You get to figure out whether or not your Nick Chubb shares are worth what they used to be worth, or haven't lost as much as you think, or if they are basically now in a full-time split. And it's going to only get worse as the season goes on, as long as Hunt behaves and plays well, which he should. Let's move on to Greg Olsen, Matt, who you don't like this week. He's outside your top 12 tight ends. He's at number 14, while Mr. Black and I both have him at numero 8.
Yeah.
Why the Greg Olsen hate? Is because he's playing the Packers? Is that what it is?
When's the last time he's been good?
I mean, 6 teams on bye.
Yeah. He's had like no more than 40 yards, I think, in the last 10 weeks. It's not, and that's an exaggeration, obviously, but
I was looking at the consensus rankings as I was doing my ballsy starts and sits, and I was going to put Jack Doyle as a ballsy sit because he was ranked 9th this week.
Really?
Yeah, ahead of Eric Ebron, who was 11th.
That seems really high, yeah.
Yeah, so Jack Doyle, I don't understand it, but
no, I don't get that over Ebron anyway.
No,
That's why you're
I would
having a thing
have.
with him?
Pardon me?
That's why you're having a thing with Doyle and not Ebron.
No. I mean, Doyle's only ever played there, right?
Yeah.
Doyle's only had things with luck, so I don't see what the big change is there. Maybe they think because he had the touchdown last week and he's been getting kind of on par with targets. But here's the thing. Eric Ebron had a talk with either the coach or management, can't remember who it was, this week about his role in the offense. So squeaky wheel, him, squeaky wheel, OBJ. They're going to have some good games today. That's the only tight end we have to talk about. And again, tight end's a situation where you either drafted a really good player, picked up a really good player in Waller who didn't have the best week, or Andrews who are still better than Greg Olsen, or you've just kind of been streaming a tight end, grabbing this guy, grabbing that guy. But you might also have the Kittle issue where you're like, who should I play if Kittle's out? I'd be fine starting Olsen because Kittle's doubtful. That's what he was downgraded to. But I'm also fine with waiting on Kittle because of the boost that Kittle can bring to your team. I'm fine waiting on Kittle as long as I have a player who's either on bye or playing in that same game that I'm okay with dropping in order to pick up Mr. Hollister for Seattle, who would be my plug and play if Kittle can't go.
It's just very rare when somebody's doubtful that they're actually going to be playing.
I just feel with the extra day. And he played through last game after he had that thing.
Yeah, but it was just yesterday that they put him as doubtful, so.
Yeah. But I don't know. Don't they have to be doubtful now? Isn't it just, or is it all questionable? No more probable. They changed that a while ago.
Probable, questionable, doubtful.
Yeah.
Out.
4 more to go. 4 wide receivers on this list. None of them rank very highly by any of us. But the highest of the 4 is Marquise Brown. And I'm the lowest of all of us on him. I have him at 42. I just don't care for him. He hasn't done it in a long time.
He hasn't, but you think LJ's going to be decent, right? Like, so who's he going to toss to?
Mark Andrews. Maybe he'll throw Boykin one. He hasn't seen one in a while. Willie Snead. Or he's just going to run it like he's been doing for the past 6-7 weeks.
Fair enough.
I just think he's a boomer bust. You guys have him as a high flex, and starting 3 wide receiver sets. I think he's outside of that. I think you should have 3 wide receivers on your team if you're a good team that you're playing ahead of him. And if you want to throw him in the flex because you have bye week issues, then go ahead and do that. But I don't see him being higher than that. Anthony Miller. Matt, you love Anthony Miller this week. 37. You have him quite high.
Low flex. Or
well,
outside of 3 wide receivers.
A high flex and 3 wide receiver sets. So almost a top 35 play this week for Anthony Miller. A guy who I don't think has a touchdown on the year.
I don't think so.
But has had a couple nice games other than last week, which was the one week I picked Trubisky and you picked Anthony Miller in your DFS.
Yeah.
And you're still going with him. No hate.
No, it's a good matchup. I mean, the Lions secondary is bad. Their defense is bad altogether. Again, the 6 teams being on bye, it really skews these numbers a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guys pushed up a bit. I still wouldn't be looking to start him as a 37th, right?
Well, I mean, compared to where we have him at 55 and 60, like he's not even a consideration for us.
Yeah,
but you haven't considered, so.
I'm kind of surprised why no love for him at all.
I mean, how bad was Trubisky last week?
Yeah.
That was a good matchup.
It was.
It should have been a lot better.
Okay, fair enough.
I think this is going to be a huge Montgomery game now that the situation has played out with the quarterback, with Stafford being out. I think they're going to get the lead and they're just going to hold on to it with Montgomery. So this is going to be a 3rd straight big game for David Montgomery, a player who we liked and said not to get rid of when he started off disappointing. Do you have a comment here from Control-Aversal?
Controversial?
Well, it's Control-Aversal,
yeah.
but obviously he's playing that. Pick 1, A.J. Brown, Cole Beasley, Josh Reynolds, full point PPR. It's definitely not Beasley.
It's A.J. Brown for me.
I think it is, but I don't think Josh Reynolds is that far off. I think A.J. Brown has the highest potential to give you a really nice week.
Because Corey Davis is out.
Okay. Cole Beasley is probably the safest to get you like the mediocre week that's really just going to be not a 0, whereas Josh Reynolds could be big hit and miss. I would go Brown over them.
I would go A.J. Brown too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think just he's going to have to see a lot more. Who else is going to step in there? Tajay Sharp is now the number 2 wide receiver with Humphreys in the slot. I mean,
don't forget Walker's out too.
Yeah. And they're going to need points because they're playing Patrick Mahomes. A.J. Brown is a great start. The more I'm just convincing myself, and I tried to put him in my DFS lineups beforehand. I don't know if I managed. I think I managed to get him in one of them, or maybe I didn't, and maybe I just changed all the defenses to the Bears. But yeah, AJ Brown, thanks for the comments. Controversial. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. Let's talk about Marvin Jones. Now, the rankings are going to be skewed now, but previously, Matt, you had him at 31, whereas Mr. Black and I both had him in the top 20. There's no way he's in the top 20 now. I said I'd drop him 15 to 20 spots. I'm happy to drop him to like the 38 range. And I would still start him over Marquise Brown, so that's fine. I think I'm good with that. Are you dropping him into the 50 range? You had him only 6 spots ahead of Anthony Miller. So now you're starting Anthony Miller over him? Or did you just not believe so much in Marvin Jones that the quarterback change doesn't affect it that much?
It was the bad matchup there. It's Kenny Galladay. If Kenny Galladay doesn't change nearly as much as Marvin Jones, Galladay is going to stay in the top 15-ish for me anyway. I don't know where I had him, but
I think he's probably going to go close to 20 to me.
And Marvin Jones' game doesn't change a whole lot depending on who's back there.
But I mean, if you have an inaccurate quarterback who's just not getting his wide receivers the ball and not putting them in positions to score.
I don't know if I would start Anthony Miller over him, but I'd maybe drop him 5 spots. He'd be hanging around there.
Wow. Yeah, so I guess when you're not high on him to begin with,
yeah,
you're not thinking he's going to have a good day. So when the quarterback change happens, it doesn't affect him that much.
No.
If you're really high on a player and you think, guess what? Baker's going to feed OBJ the ball a ton because it's a squeaky wheel game, and there was complaints, there was talk about Baker saying they need to feed him the ball more. Beckham's going to have a huge game today. Should be in your DFS lineups. But if Baker got hurt or wasn't playing, and I don't know who the backup is, would step in, you would then downgrade OBJ. But if you had Landry at around 30, thinking he wasn't going to do much, the backup change doesn't affect him that much.
Maybe,
yeah. So I understand the logic there. You're not that high on him to begin with.
He's not going to move that
You're not going to move that far down. Whereas we were pretty high on him. We thought this was going to be a game where maybe they try to take away Kenny Galladay, and Marvin Jones has the big game, which he's had. But moving on, last one, and then we're going to get to talk about something different, talk about our fantasy teams and how we are doing. Demarcus Robinson. Matt, why do you hate him? You have him at 61.
It's kind of, yeah.
You have Miko in the 40s. Why is there a 20-point gap for a guy who's outsnapped him in every single game but one? I'm tired of this. This is Demarcus Robinson bashing. So
he hasn't done anything either.
Nope.
So.
But guess who was the first player ever in a Sunday Showdown lineup to have negative points last week? Miko Hardman.
Nice.
On my team.
Yeah, I was going to say, didn't you have him?
Yes.
Well, that's why he did it.
Yeah. Well, here it is. Demarcus Robinson, Miko Hardman, rest of season, more fantasy points.
Go Hardman.
I will happily take Robinson.
I'll take Tyreek Hill too.
I will also take Tyreek Hill, so we're even on that one. So it's Robinson versus Hardman.
No, you get Robinson and Watkins. I get Hardman and Hill.
No,
Perfect.
it's just one for one. You get Hardman and I get Robinson. The bet is on. We'll come up with some type of what the winner gets, what the loser gets, the rest of the season best. Our first one.
Woo! And two irrelevant players that won't see either of our lineups, probably.
Yeah, they're definitely not the most relevant players. But let's go into talking about our teams. We didn't have that many rankings gap this week. There was a lot of players on bye, so it makes sense. But we're going to talk about our teams, how we're doing. I am in 6 teams, 6 leagues.
Okay.
How many leagues are you in?
Including ours?
Yeah.
8.
Matt is in 8 leagues. Yeah. Now, we have 2 teams of my 6 and of your 8 that are teams that we share.
Yeah.
Let's jump right into those. We play on Reality Sports Online, and we're doing pretty well in those.
Yeah, we are 7-2 in one, and 6-3 in the other.
Sounds about right. 7-2 for the Disasters.
Yeah.
And this is the 3rd year of that league?
This is year 3, yeah.
And this is year 4 of our other league.
Yeah.
And in that one, we are 6-3.
Yeah.
And we have the 4th most points scored.
Yeah, so that second league that he mentioned there where we're 6-3, that was our first league doing that.
Yeah, so Reality Sports Online, for those of you that don't know, is a salary cap contract multi-year league. I know it's a terrible way to explain it, but basically it's an auction. and you can put guys on 4-year contracts, 3-year contracts, 2-year contracts, 1-year contracts, and there's an algorithm that decides what the better contract is for the player.
The player takes that.
I will tell you something about this league, this reality sports online. I'm over it. I don't care for it anymore.
No?
No. I think it's quite boring during the season, which is kind of good because we are busy with this. But if you look at the last couple of drafts for the teams, and after the first couple of years, it's mostly just the rookies that you're using that are on good contracts, and then you have money. So it's really all about the rookie draft still for this. And then a whole bunch of trading. In the one league, the one guy did a great job trading to get his team.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the auction, there's very little to do. Like, we know we're looking at this player or this player or this player, and we're leaving both of those places with a lot of money. Like, we had a lot of cap space in both leagues, like over 10 million.
No, not in the new one. We had like 6.
Well, that one is also 1 year younger, so.
Yeah.
And then the problem we have in the one league is we have to cut players every year because the contracts aren't.
Yeah, there's too many long-term deals.
And we're not even giving out the 4 years anymore. Like, it's just the rookie deals.
Yeah.
You trade for rookie picks. One thing I would really like is if that league had an actual practice squad, not the garbage one they came up with, where you can just poke people from the practice squad. Yeah. They're trying to be too much like the NFL, which I liked at first. But I would like a practice squad where every single rookie can be put on your practice squad, and it doesn't affect your cap hit until you bring them up. Yeah. So that way you can have as many rookies down there as possible. Trading for draft picks, you want volume. Give me all the rookies. Yeah. And that's how a lot of dynasty leagues work, where it's just like you have this practice squad where I can trade you all your picks for one player, and I have all these dart throws now. And some of these rookies are going to hit, and my team's going to be good eventually. Whereas now, like in one league, we had the top 2 picks this year. In another league, we traded basically all our picks to get Saquon. Yeah. So we've done a lot of trading, but
we have too many roster players in that one league, though.
And like I do like the rookie draft, but it just seems that it's just like I want 3rd round picks in the rookie draft, but we can't have them because we just have to cut them after 1 year, and we can't give them time.
If they're not doing well.
Like, we even had to cut Josh Reynolds in the offseason, and he wasn't even doing bad. We just, we don't have room to keep you on this team. We need to get a player that's going to be better, like Jarvis Landry. Like, as much as we like having you on your cheap contract, we need better players.
Oh, fair enough.
So, I'm a little over it. I think I'll be okay with new, just because the contract situation in new is going to be, and our newer league is going to be better than the older league. But we are doing really well on that. It's about time for our newer league because we thought we had the recipe the first 2 years, but the players just didn't deliver.
No, that's true. We walked out of that draft thinking we won that league.
Yeah, because we had done it the year before, and injuries didn't help, and just.
But we had 2 top 5 receivers, a couple top 10 running backs, Gronk, Breeze, and Brady. I think were quarterbacks.
Yeah, we had Breeze and Brady, and we ended up trading one to get a second. But like I said, trading for draft picks doesn't really help you in some leagues because you got too many guys in the contract. Sticking with the Reality Sports Online, I play in one by myself. Matt is not a part of it. It is a 2 quarterback league, 10 team. I have 10 team, 2 quarterback leagues. My record in this one is 5-4. This is my worst league. 5-4 is my worst record. In this league, I do have Pat Mahomes. I did have to take out. I'm going to ask you a start-sit question right now.
Okay.
I had to take out Stafford today.
Okay.
So my second quarterback is Ryan Finley or Kyle Allen.
I would go. I'm going to say Allen.
And I'm going with Finley.
But they're like 24, 25, something like that for ranking. Something.
Yeah, the rest of the team should pick it up, though, with Bell, Coleman, Robinson, Evans, Galladay, Hunter Henry already played, Jalen Samuels, and Devontae Adams. One of our strategies for these leagues is to spend money on wide receivers and just try to draft running backs, which I didn't have a first, I don't think, this year. Or if I did, I used it improperly. But yeah, I have really strong wide receivers in this league.
Running backs still last. That's why we do that.
Yeah, because we're not willing to take the risk on putting them on a $30 million, $40 million contract. Because look what happened to Gurley. Yeah. Like, he went from being great to not great to great to injured.
Yeah.
That's been his progression. So depending on the year you got him, you either got him at a great deal or you way overpaid for him. Matt, why don't we talk about one of your leagues? Let's talk about your worst league. Get it out of the way. It's going to be ugly.
What's up, dudes? Do you start Sammy Watkins or John Brown? I have to check my rankings on that.
That's actually really close. We have a question from Alan Pedroza, and he has a really good question. He wants to know who would we start in full PPR, Sammy Watkins or John Brown. I'm leaning towards John Brown, but I'm checking out the rankings here on BlueDogFantasy.com. Wide receiver, PPR.
I've got Watkins slightly ahead. You have Watkins slightly ahead as well.
Oh, surprising. I have John Brown at 22. I have Watkins higher than that.
19.
Wow. And Mr. Black to round it out. 15.
He's got 15 for John Brown and 37 for Sammy.
Yeah, so Sammy Watkins is the answer from us.
Yeah.
But it is close.
Yeah, they're very close.
John Brown's had a little bit of
Pretty
a
similar.
down stretch the last 2-3 games. Watkins is, well, Sammy always has the potential to do it. But
Yeah, I was going to say Sammy's got the higher upside.
Pat Mahomes being back today should really boost him up. Our pleasure helping you out, Alan. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. So let's talk about your worst team. Come on, share your embarrassments with us because I know it's going to be really bad. Because my worst team was 5-4. So yours is probably what, like 4-5, 3-6?
I wish that was the case.
This is going to be hilarious. Don't want to miss this. How do I use this highlight button? Here's the highlight.
1-8.
1-8?
1-8.
1-8 is your worst team. What type of league is this that you're playing in?
Redraft.
So it's a seasonal league.
Yep.
You did a full draft this year, or was it an auction? So this is an auction.
Yep.
How many teams?
12.
12-team auction. So let's go with who you auctioned up.
Saquon Barkley was my top player.
Okay, so you spent a lot of money on Saquon, and that really hasn't paid off. Saquon hasn't lived up to the money you would have spent in auction. If you would have drafted him like I did in the first round of a draft, you're fine with that because he's not been bad. But you probably spent a good chunk.
Yeah, it was about. I think it was a $200 cap. I think it was about 60 something.
So over 25% of your budget went to Mr. Barkley, and he was injured, so not his fault, and he came back a lot quicker than most people expected, so that was good. But who else did you spend some money on there?
Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones has been
He's
good.
been good, yeah.
He's been hit and miss, though. So a player that's been hit and miss like that ends up costing you weeks and winning you weeks by way too many points that you don't need.
Oh, yeah. And Antonio Brown was my top receiver.
And there it is. The nail in the coffin that puts you at 1-8. Do you still have him on your team?
No, I dropped him.
Did somebody else pick him up?
I don't think so. I think he's been off for a while. There was a report today that came out that he's not playing this year.
Well, that report comes every day, and then he'll yell something on Twitter, and then I have him in 2 leagues, because...
Actually, nobody has him in this league.
Thanks for the sub, Alan. Okay, so 1-8, Alan, or basically you shot yourself in the foot with the Antonio Brown thing. When you have Antonio Brown, it's over. Like, you spent so much money in an auction on it. We had it happen in our Yahoo league that we'll talk about in a bit. Somebody got him and unfortunately was able to trade him. But
yeah, he got decent value. I had Cam Newton, my quarterback there.
So you don't have a quarterback anymore? Who's your current quarterback?
No, Derek Carr right now.
Oh, wow, that's good. You didn't really get somebody better for this week?
There's nothing.
Wow.
This is one of those leagues where everybody has 2 quarterbacks.
Ah.
Terrible. I had Hunter Henry.
Missed time with the injury.
Yeah.
Great since he's been back.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, you just can't,
It's been piecing together lineups, and it's bad. It's a bad league. It is what it is. You know.
So 1-8. Let's not dwell on it. Let's not make fun of Matt too much for his 1-8 team.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown, depending on when you drafted, I liked him in Oakland because what did we think was going to happen with him? He was going to get fed the ball.
Yep.
Gruden's an old school coach. He feeds the number 1 wide receiver. We talked about Tyrell Williams being probably the best wide receiver handcuff in the game. Because if anything had happened to Antonio Brown, Tyrell Williams was going to be there and was going to get volume. Well, something happened to Antonio Brown, and Tyrell Williams has been a top 25, top 30 wide receiver, which is a player that you were drafting for free, depending on when you were drafting him.
Yeah, so that was what happened in that league, and I still didn't mind a lot of the players I had. It just wasn't working out. Joe Rice wasn't as good as he should have been, you know. Things like
Yeah, let's talk about. So we talked about 3 of my leagues, 3 of your leagues.
Yeah.
I still have 3. You still have 5. So let's talk about your best league. We're gonna have to speed it up a bit so we get the Sunday Showdown within the next
What's my best
5-10 minutes.
Best league is our shared CBS probably.
Yeah, and we're tied for first place in there.
Yeah. But my team is super solid.
This is an IDP league. My defense is better than yours. It is
Well, sort of.
well, it is. You keep 5 players on offense or less. Must keep 2 on defense. Very complex league. It is the best scoring system out there. We'll probably do a full podcast about how great this league that I set up is. But right now we're going to get to Nick Bastion's question. Flex Diggs or Latavius Murray in standard?
I still say
Diggs. That's like he's hanging in the background for a reason. There's no Thielen today. He's been great. And yeah, Murray's going to have a role.
Yeah.
Murray will probably get you single-digit points, maybe a touchdown.
Murray's like the Mark Ingram from last year. That's what he's going to be.
Yeah, Diggs is going to be great. Got to go with Diggs. Diggs has got way too much potential over Latavius Murray. If you had a worse player for Diggs, you could definitely consider Murray, but it's Diggs. So the CBS League, like I said, we'll probably do a full podcast on it. We're both 6-3, a lot of keepers. Good job on that league, but you came in with some great keepers like Michael Thomas, Travis Kelce, favorable tight end scoring. Nick, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, man.
Adams.
Who?
Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams, who has been kind of a bust for you this year so far.
He's injured.
Yeah, but I'm just saying he hasn't been good for you so far. If you drafted Devontae Adams in a seasonal league, you're probably not the best team.
Yeah, Diggs.
So, Diggs has been coming on.
Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones has been hit and miss, so that your record should actually probably be better if your guys have been playing better.
Yeah.
And my record should probably be worse, but it's just kind of the way it's worked out. With me having somewhat of a rebuild last year and getting guys like, I had Galladay as a red shirt, and then picked up Michelle, picked up Sutton, and held on to Allen Robinson. So my keepers aren't on your level. Let's talk about our next shared league. That's the Yahoo League. What's your record in that?
3-6, I think.
Ooh. That is another auction league. It is a 10-team auction league, standard scoring. My record in that one is 6-3.
Yeah.
And
this team should be better. I don't get it.
Well, who'd you waste your money on at auction?
Beckham was a big one.
There's been a lot of trading in this league, so it's really tough for me to remember who you had at auction.
Yeah.
The only player I've traded away is Aaron Jones. Oh, I guess Mahomes on draft day.
There you go.
I traded Mahomes and Calvin Ridley, who's been kind of a bust this year, for, my goodness, who did I get back? I know I got Michelle.
What's that? Jacobs back for Jones.
Yeah, but for the Mahomes trade, I think I just got Michelle.
And
I wanted cap space at the auction, and I paid way too much for Mahomes based on how much everybody else was going for, so I got rid of him. Your league, your team here, Kamara, Hopkins. Kamara's missed time. Hopkins has been not the best. Baker, Landry, Newton. Wow, you got some quarterback issues. Why do you still have Cam Newton?
Oh, there's the dollar.
But I mean, you can go and get somebody who's going to play next year for $1.
Yeah, probably.
Kirk Cousins, Allen Robinson, Odell Beckham. Mike Williams has been, I guess, your kind of bust of the year for a player that you were really high on that hasn't delivered. Landry's kind of been our bust. Like, we both really thought Landry would get a benefit from this, but the whole Browns team has been a bust. Yeah, Eckler have you had Eckler all year?
No, I traded.
Oh, okay. And you traded for Carson at one point too. A lot of trades in this league.
Yeah.
Tough to tell what's going on. Matt, why don't we go to another one of your leagues? Preferably one where you're doing well in, so that the people listening think you know what you're saying.
Okay, I've got my. Let's see here. This is a full PPR.
Okay.
2 quarterback.
2 QB.
So my team is. My quarterbacks are normally LJ, Lamar
That's
Jackson,
good.
and Deshaun Watson.
That's really good.
McCaffrey and Aaron Jones are my running backs.
That's fantastic.
Evans, Cooper, Allen Robinson are my wide receivers.
That's amazing. This is a great team. Is this like a 16 league or something?
No, it's 12.
Wow, that's an impressive team.
Yeah.
Is this a seasonal league or is it?
Seasonal, yeah.
So is it a draft?
This was a draft. Yes.
So who did you draft? Christian McCaffrey first. Who did you draft coming back? Mike Evans?
I think so.
And then probably Aaron Jones in the third?
No.
Oh, it's a 2 quarterback league. Never mind. That's completely different. So
No, but the quarterbacks didn't go off the board. It was really strange.
LJ would have been late, but you would have grabbed Deshaun early.
Yeah, I traded for Watson though.
Oh, I see. So then I could still be right that it went McCaffrey, Evans, Jones in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, I don't think I got Jones that high. I think I took Cooper ahead of Jones. I think I got Jones in round 4.
Yeah. Okay, and your record in this league?
It is 7-2.
Ooh, nice.
With the most points for 6-3. Lied.
Terrible.
With the most points forward by almost 300 points. I've got the most points forward by almost 300 points on the next
That's
highest.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm 6-3 still.
Yeah, that's Aaron Jones for you. Any other teams you want to talk about? I have my Dynasty League.
No,
I don't really want to get
into it.
Yeah, I don't really want to get too into my Dynasty team here. I did win this league last year. It was my first, I guess, full Dynasty league that I played in. I've always played in keeper leagues. And I am tied for first in my division right now. I'm trying to find my record, but I hate ESPN. It is not a good app. And we're going to be leaving that for, I believe, some place I've never heard of that apparently has a better app. I think I'm 6-3. Don't quote me on it. If I could see my team, it would maybe tell me.
Look at the
6-3.
Look at the standings in this league. Is that the most the most bunched up league you've ever seen?
8-1, 1-8, and then 6-3 to 4-5 every other team. Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's really crazy. So the big thing about this Dynasty League is that if I win again this year, I win the Empire Pot, I guess it's called, which is basically every year half of the entry fee goes to the league winner and half of it goes into the pot. So it would be the smallest possible because it's only the second year of the league, but I'm looking to win it. Big trade I did was trading a 3rd round pick in the rookie draft for Tom Brady, which was, I needed a quarterback, 2-quarterback league. I had Kirk Cousins and Eli Manning basically when the season started. Eli didn't last. I have Tannehill in today. I do have Ryan Finley, who I drafted. But let's get on to the Sunday Showdown, a.k.a. the Matt Show. 6-3 lead through 9 weeks. You beat me with 4 players last week. You just needed your first 4 guys: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and you were ahead of me. You won by 40.
We were talking about it during the picks last week. The C group was so bad. I was like, I'm going to win with strength, and I'm going with Christian McCaffrey first.
Christian McCaffrey won it for you.
Yeah.
This week we've altered it a bit so that the C group for running backs is better, and
that's not terrible, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not.
But there are some interesting names and some interesting places. Matt, you won last week, so you get to pick if you want to go first or second.
I went first last time and I won, so I'm going to let you go first.
Okay, I'll take Aaron Rodgers from the B group.
Okay.
This is not homework. I did not do any research in preparation for this.
So you went quarterback first, wow.
Well, Aaron Rodgers in the B group went up top, and you can see that.
No, you put the guys there, so.
Yeah, I go by ranking. He was outside the top 5 this week. And he's been playing great, other than last week.
No, fair enough.
Should be a high-scoring game against Carolina, too.
I'm going to go with Damian Williams out of the B with the McCoy news here.
That's a good pick.
And I am going to go with...
Again, we're playing half PPR.
Yeah.
You can follow along. BlueDogFantasy.com. Look for the picture of Matt and I, our little emoji guys, Bitmojis,
Yeah, they're fighting.
Lightsabering, with a very burning background this week. A lot of fire, a lot of dragons, and a lot of death. But that's because I'm coming to win to make this 6-4. I'm not. Can't give up these wins.
Okay, I gotta pick my second player here. I will go with. I don't care for these wide receivers out.
This is what happens every week. Matt takes an hour.
I'm gonna go with Robert Woods.
That's from the B group?
Yeah.
Okay, I will take Saquon Barkley from the A group.
Okay.
And I will take Alex Erickson from the C group. I mean,
I laughed because I almost took him.
Yeah, but I guess I don't know.
Okay, let's see here.
So I got a quarterback, running back, wide receiver. Matt has a running back and wide receiver. So he doesn't need to take a quarterback, obviously, because I've taken one. No. But he's really got to make that tight end decision.
Yeah.
Does he want Greg Olsen, who's in the A group?
No, I don't. Not at all.
Who you had outside the starting range?
I will go with... I'm going to go with Big Bad Vance McDonald.
I figured you would.
Out of the B group as well. And we're going to go with... I'm going to go Devin Singletary out of the B group.
Okay. I will take Anthony Miller,
Okay.
wide receiver.
That's really strange since he had him ranked like 60.
Well, I have him a lot higher than guys like Gus Edwards and Ty Montgomery, and I'm not taking Herndon or Albert Wilson.
Okay.
Although I would have taken Wilson had you taken Miller, but I'm leaving you complete garbage down there. So have fun with Ryan Fitzpatrick as your quarterback. I am going to take, if he has not been taken yet, Zach Pascal.
He's B.
B. So that's my 3 wide receivers.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably should have taken somebody instead of him.
I am going to go with... Oh yeah, I'm going to have to take Albert Wilson, I guess, later on. Handcuffed myself here a little bit. Bad strategy this week. Went all B's at the beginning.
It's because I went C's early, because that's what you've been doing. But I went Aaron Rodgers first. How many B's do I have? I'm all out of B's?
No, you've got only 2 B's taken.
Oh.
Let's go with...
Well, you got some good wide receivers in the A.
Yeah, I know.
Have you taken an A yet?
No, I haven't taken an A or a C.
Well, I guess you could, yeah. There's some good opportunities for you here, though. There's a lot of flexibility with the A. Your C's are just going to be terrible.
Yeah.
And it's just whether or not you're going to be willing to take Baker or Ryan Fitzpatrick as a C quarterback.
What am I missing here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, no, I got it.
I went first, so 5-4.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
Apologize for having to wait on Matt. He doesn't look at this list the day before to make a decision, and then spends hours contemplating just so that he can win in Sunday Showdown, which he won't this week, so that's good news. Maybe he'll pick quicker next week. Or maybe he'll come prepared.
Whatever. That's, you know, I'm just going to go Baker.
Baker, C quarterback against Buffalo.
Because why not? And
Could win with the Magic against Indy. That's a decent play as well.
and then that's going to leave me with only one play here, which is going to be, you still need an A, so I'm going to go up there first. I will go with Julio.
Julio Jones, wide receiver Atlanta. Should be a lot more today.
Yep.
All right, so I need a running back and a tight end. I will take Mark Andrews. And at running back from the B group, that's all I have is B's left.
You've got, only B's left.
I will take Kalen Ballage.
Is that a B?
That's a B.
Hey. So, I will take here Mr. Albert Wilson.
And your C's are done.
Woohoo! And you are going to get a B flex, who goes by the alias of Mr. Ooh, there's some good options here for you. I'm going to pick you Mr. Chester Rogers.
Perfect. Brian Hoyer about to go off today. Yeah, some bad B wide receivers there. Mistake on my part leaving you to pick me a B. I should have left you to pick me an A.
Yes, like I left you.
But I went Saquon too early. I should have went Vance earlier than Saquon. That was the mistake that I made in this draft. So now you will get, in a half-point PPR league,
He's picking between Lev Bell, Derrick Henry, Cooper Kupp, and Odell Beckham.
I'm pretty confident Odell Beckham's going to go off. So I'll give you Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry.
So I like Lev Bell this week too.
Okay. So just to recap this quickly here, Ben has Aaron Rodgers, Saquon Barkley, Kalen Balaj, Alex Erickson, Anthony Miller, Zach Pascal, Mark Andrews, and Chester Rogers.
Can I change my Zach Pascal pick?
No, you can't.
To Sammy Watkins?
You cannot. I've got Baker. This is my quarterback. Damian Williams, Devin Singletary, Julio Jones, Robert Woods, Albert Wilson, Vance McDonald, and Derrick Henry as a flex. That's how it is today. Couple minutes left.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. We're gonna shut her down early so that we can get ourselves ready to watch the games. Game you're looking most forward to for the 1 o'clock games?
What is the 1 o'clock lineup here? Just gonna double check all these games. I should know the game times more than I do, but let's go with. I am interested in. If I'm looking to see how Pat Mahomes does in his return, but for fantasy wise, I think that Cards Bucks game is going to be a shootout.
Yep, we'll be watching that one.
How about you?
I'm the Browns.
Yeah, okay.
I just want to see what happens there and I'm actually excited a little bit about Ryan Finley getting the start today. It's a guy that I wasn't super high on, but I was higher than the consensus on him. So I want to see how well he does in his first start. Be rooting for him and against the Ravens. So that'll be a game to watch as well. So Browns, Bills. I mean, the Saints-Falcons game is actually going to be a pretty good one too. A lot of good games today. A game that we won't care about is the Lions-Bears because forget them. And the New York game also terrible.
Yeah.
Chiefs-Titans. Be interesting to see Mahomes back. But yeah, to me, in order, it is going to be the Browns game. I just want to see Hunt.
Bucks.
The Bucks. Well, the Bucks is my team, right? So, and then, the Bengals. Ryan Finley, and then Mahomes, because we know what Mahomes does, and he's gonna do it again.
No Atlanta, New Orleans there.
Oh yeah, sorry, I put them actually ahead of. They would be third.
There you go.
But should be a blowout, right? It's just gonna be a nice fantasy game. It's not a game that has any type of meaning long term for the season, or it doesn't affect anybody's fantasy value. You're going to get what you get from that game, and you're going to go on. I think it's going to be a big day for Calvin Ridley, who I really like, with Lattimore taking over.
Julio.
All right, anything you want to add before we shut her down?
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hopefully you're doing both.
That's it.